In 2004, I was sent on a summer apostolic work at a parish in Abuja, the capital of Nigeria. I was a seminarian at the time. I lived with a family for about 4 weeks. Part of my assignment was to visit with families who belonged to the parish. I made lots of friends at the time, and I'm still in touch with some. My host introduced me to her best friend at the parish. Her friend was a nurse, and she had about 4 of her grandkids living with her at the time. I became good friends with them, and we created a very beautiful bond. One of her grandkids' name was Faustina. It was the first time I was meeting a kid or someone with that name, and I grew very fond of her. She was probably 7 at the time. She was the sweetest kid ever. She was very intelligent, loved going to church because the family house was very close to the parish, so every time I go to get the kids, she and her siblings, we walk together to the church. And Faustina brought so much joy to her family. I remember working with her while she did her homework, and I was amazed by the fact that she asked very, very intelligent questions. I knew in my heart that this kid is very gifted and driven and wants to make a positive difference in our world. In 2016, I was sent to study theology in the same city where I met this wonderful family. As expected, we visited a lot. But in 2008, I was asked to return to Makurdi, the town I grew up, to continue my theology formation. A few years later, I received the news that Faustina's grandma passed away. I knew she was on dialysis, but I didn't expect she was going to die that soon. Her death really changed the dynamic of her family. She was like the breadwinner. My little friend, Faustina, couldn't continue her education. I helped her a few times with money so she could finish her diploma. Faustina had a really rough teenage years. Long story short, she contracted HIV and hepatitis B. She's been struggling with ill health for a while now. This past December, she was involved in a car accident and almost lost her life. The good thing about Faustina is she has a very strong will to live. Before December, I was not able to talk to her very often as I would have loved to because she doesn't have a smartphone. But 2 weeks ago, I was able to get her one, and now I'm able to call her on WhatsApp, which is very affordable. I'm working with her to get her back to school so she can have a degree. We're hoping that in a few weeks, she will be among those shortlisted at the University of Kefi back in Nigeria. I share this story because today is CDA. It is easy to read 70 ministries and thousands of people and simply think of a catchphrase or statistics. But the CDA is about so much more. It's about individuals like Faustina that you give hope and joy to through your generosity and kindness. And you guys have been super generous here at Our Lady of Joy. You have changed lots of lives through your generous contribution to CDA every year. I can't thank you enough. I hope that you will continue to support this project. Without your generosity, a lot of kids like Faustina and people in her situations and families will be way worse off. But you have been a source of hope and joy for them. Some people have this misconception about OLOJ parishioners. They believe that most of us here are only interested in the pro-life cause. Your generosity and active commitment to the poor is a fact that I can testify to. And some of you go to downtown Phoenix to help with the St. Vincent de Paul thrift store, and you've done that for many years. That's a big sacrifice. And every year you contribute generously to St. Carlos Mission and St. Agnes Catholic School. So thank you so much for your love. Thank you for your sacrifice. And you have given so much joy, so much hope to a lot of people, even though you don't know them. I want to end with what Jesus said in Matthew's Gospel, chapter 25, at verse 40. Whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did it for me. I'm sure some of us remember the old hymn, whatsoever you do to the least of my brothers, that you do unto me. Can we do it together? Whatsoever you do to the least of my brothers, that you do unto me. When I was hungry, you gave me to eat. When I was thirsty, you gave me to drink. Now enter into the home of my Father. Whatsoever you do to the least of my brothers, that you do unto me. When I was homeless, you opened your door. When I was naked, you gave me your coat. Now enter into the home of my Father. Whatsoever you do to the least of my brothers, that you do unto me. So we have envelopes in the pew. I invite us to pick one and share our contribution. And we have a flyer with the QR code if you want to do a contribution through that, or we can go to give.dphx.org. Thank you so much for your love. Thank you for your sacrifice.